Is your life good? Or is it bad? Today we're talking about how the unconscious mind controls the outcome of your life. So whether it is good, or if it is terrible, you have your unconscious mind to thank for it. It is what is keeping you stuck in the place that you are in life right now. Are you stuck in a good situation? Where you have a really good life, where relationships are good, where you get out of life the things that you want, through your work, through friends, whatever, through the world? Or is it on the other side where you feel depressed, lost, confused or whatever? And today I want to talk about how you became in the way that you are today, and how you can change your unconscious mind going forward so that you can step above these lower states of your unconscious mind where it is not working for you in a good way, but it's kind of working against you. And how you can make it work for you so the outcome of your life, that by the way is completely automatic, based on the automatic things that is going on in your unconscious. In short, we're just gonna make the unconscious mind work for us and not against us. So let's get into it. The first concept that I want to talk about is your emotional state of being. This is very important. This is who you are at your most fundamental core as a person. Another word for it could be your energy, or frequency, or vibration, even though I don't really use those words myself to explain it, because I feel like it takes you in some directions that people don't really take too seriously. But you could also call it that, of course. It's just quantum physics and the state of energy. There's nothing wrong with saying it, but I like to use the term emotional state of being, or your energy. That is who you are at your most fundamental core. Your emotional state of being is going to be somewhat the same throughout the day, but it can fluctuate a little bit. But where does the emotional state of being that you're always operating out of, the person that you're, where does it come from? It comes from experiences from your past that you condition into the unconscious mind, that later on makes up for the sort of energy that you have. So the emotional state can go from pretty low to pretty high. You got like fear, pride, shame, guilt, anger at the bottom, and then you got more elevated states at the top, like joy, happiness, and love, and so on. And the reason why we either wind up pretty low on this scale, or why we wind up pretty high on it, is because of the experiences that we have had in our lives from a young age over the course of us growing up to the person that we are now, that are either a bit traumatic, that makes us wire in a little bit of shame over perhaps who we are because of something that happened. Maybe a little bit of pride, maybe a little bit of anger, maybe a little bit of fear. Things that etches itself into our personality. Negative habits, those that you have within yourself that acts out through your personality. For example, the negative habit of being shy and not daring to perhaps speak up, or the negative habit of always like being very needy and needing stuff from people. Those things, or maybe just being extremely angry or whatever it is, originates first from an emotion. If you have an emotional state of being conditioned by your past of not feeling good about yourself, then that emotion is the source of you being perhaps shy in this case. And the shyness is only a reflection of the story that you are telling yourself from your past and conditioned into the unconscious mind that is now always running in the background of who you are. That creates an automatic trait within your personality of being shy. You don't control if you're shy or not in this case. Of course you can consciously think your way into being, okay, I'm strong, I can go and do this and whatever, but sooner or later it always kind of finds its way back, because the emotion behind the fact that you're actually shy doesn't go away because of it until you learn how to actually resolve it, and being shy disappears and being confident becomes natural. What we need to realize is that our personality is what creates our reality, what creates the outcome of every situation that we are in. If you are a person that is having states of fear, shame, anger, guilt, and so on wired deep within you, then that personality trait that comes after first the emotion is going to lead you to make the decisions in your life that is going to take you and propel you forward in the physical world, right? So for example, if you are shy, maybe you do certain choices because you are not believing in yourself. So you need to act in accordance with that, right? You might think that, oh, I need to make this decision, but the reason why I'm making this decision is not a conscious, active choice for the betterment of who you are as a person, but as a reflection of the pain that you're feeling within yourself that you're always trying to cope with. But the fact is also that you're completely unconsciously aware of this, because that is the tricky part of the unconscious mind. You do not know about these things going on within you that controls everything that you do, because it feels like you are consciously in control, when in reality it stems from something that is very unconscious, and you sort of just going through the stream of these things and like whoa, 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 and it is not so consciously calculated as maybe you think. So the reason why your life is going in a direction that is not good right now is because it is a reflection of the pain that is first going on within you. If it is something bad out here, it is because something bad within you first preceded it, that made you do the choices that made you wind up at this place later on. But if we can change the emotional state of being that I've been talking about now, your energy, we influence the unconscious mind that controls a lot of our automatic personality. Wouldn't you agree that if you were completely confident and sure of yourself and not afraid to perhaps be yourself, for example, that the choices that came alongside with that new trait in your personality would be completely different from how it was before? When you were not like that, you would be someone completely different. And it originates from how you first felt within yourself, because even being confident, bold and daring originates from feeling something very positive within yourself. It comes from having an emotional state of being conditioned into you that is not so inflicted by these painful lower emotional states that you always need to cope and distract and react and handle, that you're not even aware of that you're doing, because this is just who you have been for so long now that it's just an unconscious action. You know, I'm saying that it's a painful emotional state that we have, right? It is painful to be engaged in these lower emotional states, but it's something that we kind of also don't realize, because the way in which we condition ourselves into these lower states is by a slow process that happens over time, that just ticks a little bit at a time, and we don't really notice how this thing taps down into a worse state over time. And if we just take an example from my life, so I was able to resolve some things here at the bottom, because I also myself used to be very low on this scale. I was filled with some shit from my past that made me do very irrational things, and things that wasn't good for the development of who I was as a person, and it didn't help me improve my life in any way. But when I was able to resolve some things, I got to the core of why I felt like I was feeling. Suddenly sometimes I would make a huge leap back up on the scale of feeling like so much shame over myself most of my life, and then I realized something about myself that made me resolve some of the story that I conditioned into me at a younger age that made me feel shame over myself. And as that released, I noticed this leap, and I was like, my body feels lighter, I feel lighter, everything I do feels lighter, it feels different. My personality, I could see it and observe it in myself, that all of a sudden I'm different. I feel different. I feel light. And that is because you don't notice like how much in pain we actually are right now, because it is completely unconscious and something that we got used to over time. Sure, you can feel it if you really think about it, and you know, being lonely and being depressed and all of that stuff, it's not fun and it is painful. But for me, for example, I was so disconnected from what I was actually feeling most of my life that I didn't even notice that fuck, I'm in a lot of pain, you know? And it wasn't until I changed that and felt something different that was much better, all of a sudden, that I noticed that, holy shit, that is how I was feeling for so long, and I wasn't even aware of it. I was just going through the motions of distracting myself, of being shy, of being scared, of being lonely, all of those things, pushing people away, all of that, in an attempt to sort of distract myself and cope with these lower emotional states that I conditioned over the course of my life. And this is the problem. If you are a person that is not having an amazing life right now, then the reason why is because you have conditioned things into your energy, who you are, that makes you into a person that creates a poor life for yourself. Simple. And if you are a person that is living an amazing life, that means that your unconscious programming is fueled by something much more powerful, which is why I love to talk about the fact that things can become effortless in your life, in the same way that it's effortless for your life to be shit right now, because it is happening automatic, right? But you can also have it happening automatic, but on a more positive note, where you are having a progressive state in your life. This is something that Carl Jung, for example, I remember reading this, he calls it progression. That is when you're having forward movement in your life, instead of regression, where the unconscious mind is draining you of your life energy, because you have to send all of your energy out into unconscious processes that you have created, complexes, as he would call them. So the solution to all of your questions, how to create a better life for yourself, is just to raise your energy. And if you want to raise your energy, you need to change your emotional state of being. It was conditioned by the experiences of your past and the stories that you told yourself in connection to these experiences in your past. Maybe that I'm not good enough because of this, maybe that people don't love me because of this, maybe that I need acceptance from these people because of this, that, or whatever it is. Usually it comes back to those 3 pillars that we humans need for our survival: love, acceptance, belonging. A lot of the shit comes back to this. And the way in which you change the unconscious mind is to become consciously aware of the unconscious things that is aching and troubling you right now. You need to face them, you need to see them, you need to become presently aware with them. And this can be very hard in the beginning because we are not used to actually doing this. For our lives, the majority of our lives so far, we have decided to look the other way, to distract from our things going on in the unconscious. And by doing that, we have also become extremely ingrained into this unconscious process of never dealing with our shit. So you need to introduce some form of mindfulness into your daily routine, where you have the goal or the aim of becoming more aware of what it is that is actually going on within your unconscious. That is a good start. I also have more videos on how to do this, and I will come out with even more powerful videos on exactly how you can change all of this so that your unconscious mind that creates the outcome of your life exactly where you are is actually working for you and no longer is working against you and putting you in a place in life where you are not satisfied, where you feel like life could be better, where you feel like you are depressed, lost, confused, whatever it is that is not good for the better version of yourself that you wish to become. How to avoid all of that and get on the other side where life slowly, more automatically, more effortlessly becomes amazing. If that sounds good, then subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.